Yo,
Yo, buddy. You there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can't hear you very good.
Hold on. How about now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Do you have a video?
I see you, but I see my name at the thing.
Hold on. That's the start video.
It's like you're the host.
Yeah. There
There we
you are. Hold on. Let's share to a group.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay. Hurry. Go ahead. I'll get it set up. All right. Share to a group. Why can't I do that? Live on Facebook. This means you've canceled the process of going live. I don't know. Go live. Go live on Workplace, live on YouTube, invite. It's weird. It's not letting me pick up the group. How funny is that? Oh, maybe I should say start this webinar. All right, maybe this will work.
Mike can see and hear you.
So he's inside. All right, that's good. Who's here? Mike, fantastic. We might just do it in here and then figure out these complications at another time. Let me just try one more time to share. Yeah, it doesn't like us for some reason. Open. Probably should have started this 5 minutes earlier.
I know. It wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me do anything before, like right now.
Yeah. All right, let's see what this does. Oh, it's me in my own webinar. That's funny. Let's see if I can do it here. No. Okay. I forget it. All right, let's remove. Oh, yeah. Are you ready? Mike, you there? Mike's here. Good. All right, let me just post this link so everybody knows where we're at. A lot of button pushing. Oh, I could share on my timeline. You want to do that?
Whatever works.
Yeah, I mean, we could go. How crazy are you gonna get? I mean, then we might have to just. I guess I could do that.
I'm here. I'll answer and talk and whatever. If somebody's got something, I'll go on it and I'll try to not get on a rabbit trail.
All right, so we could do that. Mike or Mark, we're just figuring out where I'm gonna share this thing. It's going. It's gonna do it.
Just don't put it in a big group. I don't know what's gonna be asked.
Oh shit! Then hold on. Wait 1 second. Sorry guys. Stop live stream.
That's one thing I don't like all my stuff out on for everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's get people in the Zoom room, and then we'll figure out the sharing later. I think it's because you're the host that I can't share from my end.
Because I'm not an admin of the Sprayman group.
No, because I started the Zoom as you, as the host, and I'm trying to share it live.
Okay.
Oh, it's up here. So everybody can go. I'm going to say this is live now. We are here now. Come visit. All right. So whatever. It is what it is. Mr. Quincy. We are rocking and rolling. We have Mike and Mark. Mike's in Florida and Mark is in New Jersey. Why don't we just get started as I turn my light on? I'm going to let you field some questions that I have. I want to go over some questions that I have because you run your business so methodically that it's kind of it's frustrating for a lot of people that aren't as so detail oriented as you. So let's just talk about your initial thought process. People use the word mindset, but what's your what's your thought process of keeping everything organized?
So I was thinking in here, I'm very obsessive compulsive, I guess. So I have an addictive personality. So for me, once I start doing something, I'm in 110%, no matter what that one thing is. When I'm working out and fitness and nutrition is something that's important to me. When I'm working on that, it's 110%. Like every day, I'm like, I have to do it, kind of thing. So I know that about myself. So then I get systems in place within the company that it's a have to happen all the time kind of thing. So, everything has to be simple for me. So my people have to do certain things. My customers have to do certain things. That's just the way I am. I'm wired that way. I don't like chaos. You could walk in. I mean, if you saw the other side of this computer screen, you would think I'm a slob just because of the organization or lack of there on my desk. But it's orderly to me. Like it makes sense in my head. You know what I mean? So that's just. I mean, that's how I am. Everything has to be orderly. So then that way I can function properly.
Tell everybody what's your. I don't know this, so this is the first time I'm hearing some of these questions that I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to let you keep going. But what's your daily routine? Like when Quincy wakes up in the morning, his feet hit the ground, what happens?
Yeah, so I started getting in my head a few months ago. Like, so to be focused on your morning, right? So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about what I have to do that day. Like that's the first thought in my head. I get out of bed, get up, put my shorts on or my shirt on, whatever, go to the kitchen, grab my cup of coffee, decaf coffee.
Wow.
Grab my cup of coffee. It's only decaf because the cardiologist says I have to drink decaffeinated, but that's a different story. So grab my cup of coffee. My phone's still on the charger, right? Go to the bathroom, get my shower, get myself together. And then I have, about 30 minutes or so. I'm in the Word daily. So I'm reading my Bible. I'm meditating on that, getting my head right. That's my daily routine. It used to be workout in the morning, but it didn't allow for that. So now I've changed that and I end my day with my workout. So I decompress at the end of the day. So I get my shower, get my devotional, and then I grab my breakfast. My breakfast is made the night before. Okay. So I'm a prepper. I'm a planner. And so, on Saturdays or Sunday, I sit in the kitchen and I just cook all afternoon and I make my lunches for the whole entire week. So then that way, all I got to do is go to the refrigerator and grab all my stuff. I grab my breakfast, which is 6 hard-boiled eggs every morning. And then I get on the road. And so I grab my lunch and everything and I pack that up. I eat every 3 hours. So I got a lot of food in my cooler. And so that's how I start my morning. And I'm on the road and I'm going to If it's a Monday, that's our Monday meetings. So we meet at the shop at 8 o'clock.
Wait, hang on. I'll get into that in a second. Breakfast.
Yep.
You're like crazy organized. This is nuts. All right. Night before you grab the breakfast, you have a lot of the stuff cooked on Saturday. And this actually gets into the workflow of why you're going to be hosting this thing on Wednesdays. Because just take a breather, Mr. Organization. People don't realize how organized you are, and that's why I think that you're a good fit for this role. Your day, we'll get into the days, but after breakfast, what then happens? When is the first time that you actually pick up that phone and you start worrying about the jobs or because most of us, we hit the ground, we check up our phone and make sure that, the text messages are coming in or the emails are right. When is it actually, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like you allow yourself to get so complicated with work. You're doing a lot of Quincy stuff in the beginning. And then, give us a time frame. So what time is that wake up? Are you like a 4 a.m. wake up guy?
No, that's crazy. I'm up at 5:30.
All right.
So 5:30, I wake up. Like I said, 2-3 minutes into the get my coffee.
Yep.
Shower. So I'm out. I'm ready, dressed. So I lay out my clothes in my bathroom the night before.
He's such a Marine. Yep.
So, everything's it's prior preparation prevents poor performance.
This is great.
In my head, right?
Yeah.
So if I know that something's gonna happen, I'm prepared for it. Like I'm prepared for whatever happens, and I know that I could wake up one morning and all hell breaks loose, right? Everything's falling apart. Nobody shows up for work. Customers complain. There's all these variables that could happen, and I'm prepared mentally for those things. Okay, so I waking up. I'm doing all my stuff, and I'm done probably about, I would say 6:30ish. So then I'm done having breakfast right around 7.
Okay.
So I'm done. When I start having my breakfast, I'll grab my phone, and my phone goes in my pocket. I'm still not looking at nothing. Once I actually get out the door, I'll get in my truck. I'll look at my screen, see if I got notifications. If nothing came through from the night before, it just goes on my visor, and I go do my day.
How many guys are you running right now, guys and girls?
6.
How many?
6.
All right, so that's a healthy size. How often do you communicate with them in the morning? Well, I'm guessing that you tell them where they're going to go, and how do you do that?
So I was talking about Monday morning. So Monday mornings are Monday meetings, right?
Let's go into that. Yep.
Monday is the introduction of the week. So that is my day to just unload my mind. This is everything that we're working on this week, and this is what you guys need to do, okay? So I'm taking that burden from myself, and I'm giving it to them, okay? So they know what's going on. There's no surprises. We use T-sheet. Everything is in T-sheets. So I usually update the schedule on Sunday evening at the latest. Saturday morning is usually when I do it. Just because the week changes, project doesn't get done, project runs over, we get ads on, all that stuff. So I make sure that that's updated by the weekend so that they know ahead of time the next week's workflow looks like. Mm-hmm. And then we reiterate all of that on Monday morning. So that is like my first talk about it. And then every single day we're checking in. So I got my my apprentice, who is my project manager essentially at this point. She checks in with me every single day. So as soon as the project's done, whatever stage they're at, she lets me know what's going on. I've got my trim carpenter. He's my install guy. And if he's on a project, he checks in with me every single day. He lets me know what's going on, where he got, what's up for the next day, or where we're going to be sitting for the next day, just so I know that in my head, everything I laid out for them on Monday is still going according to plan.
All right, so you use T-sheets. Everybody has access to it as an employee. They know where they're going.
Yep.
Even the subs?
My subs do not have T-sheets. So my subs are just getting communication straight back and forth from me. I will let them know when the project starts. I will find out from them what day they can be there. And I just hold them to that. I mean, if they tell me they're going to be there, I got one We had a plaster repair on a repaint that we did a little while back. And so my plaster guy told me that he was going to be there August 1st and 2nd. He called me yesterday and said, hey, I can be there on Thursday. Okay, great. Thursday at 8:30 works best for me. Can you meet me at 8:30? Yep, I'll meet you at 8:30. So he's going to meet me at 8:30, and he's going to go do his thing. He'll call me when he's done and let me know that it's done. Send me some pictures, and then I will confirm with the homeowner, hey, we've completed this phase of this, and now this is what the rest of the project looks like.
All right. So without getting let's crawl, walk, run for a lot of the people that are watching. Chris he probably has the same size. I'm not sure Grace remodel. That's just a Zoom name, Mike. 2 to 3 men companies. Let's say that we're most of the people are either on their own, 2 to 3 people. Do you think Monday? What's a good starting point? A lot of people think Monday is like hit the ground running. You've actually taken a step back and said hit the ground, refocus, and then go for it. What time is that Monday appointment? So just give everybody a little advice to start that idea, because I think that's a good starting point.
8 a.m.
So you're telling your clients what?
I tell their clients we don't start their project until 8:30. Actually, so I give a window. Okay, I hold my people to a higher standard than I give my customers. And let me explain that. So my people, so we have core values, right? And so our company core values, number one is reliability. And so if we tell a customer we're going to be there at 8 o'clock, we're going to be there at 10 to 8. Okay. I tell the customer we're going to be there between 8 and 8:30 because things happen, right? Somebody wakes up late or whatever. I bought myself a half-hour window, right? So within 30 minutes, we should be able to be there to do what we said we were going to do. So we keep a good face with the customer, but my people are at 8 o'clock. So we tell the customer we're going to be there at 8:30. We start at 8 o'clock on our meeting. Our meetings only takes like maybe 10 minutes, right? Everything's loaded up in the vans the Friday before. Okay, wow. So once we get there on Monday, we're all set to go for our week because we've already prepared for it. So my meeting takes like quick 10 minutes. Good morning, everybody. We got this project. You're going to be over here. We got an install to do. You're going to be over there. You're going to take these 2 guys with you. You're going to take that guy with him. And then we're out. And everybody's like, good. Any questions? Go around. No questions? All right, let's go. And then I go about my day and they go about theirs.
What happens if a job lasts 2-3 days? Do you regroup on Wednesday or they know the shuffle?
Yeah, we've got a backup plan. I've got probably 6 or 8 projects sitting on the back burner, like come do these whenever you're available kind of things. So I'll just, again, it's that checking in every day. It's important to me because I find out on Tuesday at noon, we're probably going to wrap this thing up today. What do we got for tomorrow? All right, let me make a couple phone calls. So then I make a couple phone calls to a couple of people who I know are the most flexible within like a 24-hour time frame. Yep. And then we scoot that project in there, and then we're working for the rest of the week.
Your project manager, you said, is an apprentice or a new girl.
Yeah.
Most of the people that's the 180-degree opposite of what I would imagine, which is probably fantastic because I've been failing at hiring for that position. Give me some insight on why a new person and how'd you find that hire?
Okay, so I say new person, but she's been with me for about 4 years. But she's my apprentice in the sense of I'm training her in the cabinet stuff. But we were on a large, huge new construction, and I was putting out ads for every place looking for help. Went through 12 employees on the job, walked away with her, plus the guys that I already had. And so she came in, she had 2 years of summer exterior painting experience. She was timid. She was in her early 20s. She was not confident in her skills. She wanted like $15 or $18 an hour. And I was like, I looked at her first and I was like, you have how much experience? She said 2 years summer experience working for this one company. And I was like, why are you asking me for so much with little experience? She goes, well, my stepdad said if I don't ask for it, I may never get it. And I was like, okay, that's bold, but I'm not paying you that kind of money. Yeah. So she was my prepper. So she sanded, she patched, she masked, she did all the cleanup. and she
Wow.
did it well. So she did something. I critiqued it, tweaked it, something, adjust this, fill this a little bit more, sand this a little bit less, and then I left her to be. She did it. She took what I gave her. She learned from it, and she was just like that all the time. So she just evolved into this prepping machine, and she prepped every room out for me. So we'd go in, and it was prep, and then I'm like, okay, so once you've mastered prep in my business, then you become a roller, right? You roll the walls. So I showed her my Super One coat, my system of rolling, and she learned it. And so then I'm like, okay, great. Let's see what you can do with the brush. So I threw her on a bathroom, cut in this bathroom. So she did fine with the brush. Little slow. Her lines aren't as tight as I'd like them to be, but we worked on it. And so I progressively just got her better as a painter. And then once we started blowing up the cabinets, she was my prepper, obviously. She is very responsible. She's a millennial, but she doesn't fit the mold at all. And so I'm going through guys that got 20 years experience, 15 years experience, old veterans, union workers, all these guys who can do all these great things, but nobody is responsible and nobody can manage anything. So I said, this is who I have, and I'm going to give her everything that I can give her until she can't take anymore. And that's what I've been doing. So I'm like, okay, run this job over here. She does good with customers. She's polite. So make sure they do this, this, and this. Okay, great. So I give her prep people, and she manages the prep people. Okay, a big project. And then she's the roller, and my cutter, who is a senior painter, is less responsible, but she's in charge of all of them. So I just keep giving her stuff, and she's closing out jobs. So she'll start the job. She'll work through the job. She'll keep me updated. She'll close the job. She'll collect a check at the end of the day. She'll bring it back to me at the shop, and she goes to the next one. And that's what she does. And I've got her all the way up to the point now where I need her to start spraying cabinets, and she's developing carpal tunnel, and she can't do it. So I've come to a kind of a little cap on what she's able to do for me. But that's what she does, and she's going to keep doing that stuff until I guess she quits. But I told her she needs to give me at least a 2-year notice. So
all right. So she's prepping a job. You said that she manages the other jobs. Just give me some insight, because I think I could feel. I don't want to steamroll this, but I do the same exact prep, roll, brush, spray, tactics. That's it. So give me how does she manage the other projects?
So if we have multiple paint jobs or other ones going on, like, so right now I've got 2 going on, and so she's working on both of them. She's my lead on both of them. And so they were there yesterday and Monday, and they pulled off of this project, and they're going to go work on a smaller project. So now she's over there taking care of that this morning. They'll be there today and tomorrow, and then we'll come back to the bigger project. So that's how she manages multiple projects.
Is she calling the guys up or girls up? That's
Yeah.
they're all right. That's cool. And then she reports back to you.
Yep. So that's another thing. That's a structure that I set up as well. I am not accessible to everybody all the time. That makes me go crazy. So one thing is, everybody, there's a hierarchy. So there's me, there's Avery, there's my trim carpenter, David, who is kind of like level with her, but he's below her. And then I've got other painters, and then I've got laborers. Okay. And so any of these people here have any questions, they need to ask Avery. Okay. If David has any questions, he can come directly to me, unless he's working with Avery on the job. If he's working on the job with Avery, Avery is his point of contact. Everything runs through her to me. So her and I are communicating directly, because I don't want to have this whole, telephone game thing going on where he said, she said, or I thought and it wasn't type of stuff. So if I tell Avery, prep all these rooms and get a first coat on everything, then that's what I want done, and that's it. So I don't have any of these people over here asking me questions on what they can do next. Avery's there.
All right. So everybody listening to this, think about this for a second. Run a company. He's put Avery's the girl's name, right?
Yes.
All right. You have a buffer. So you're not constantly being bogged down with questions when you get past, I would say 3 to 5, or even two, maybe your third crew.
I ran this on a 2-employee system.
So just not accessible. Drives you nuts.
Not accessible to everybody.
Okay. All right. So a lot of people get bogged down by communication, constant distraction, and what it really does, what you're not allowing is you're not allowing for people not to figure stuff out on their own.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and then at the same time, so by doing that, I'm giving her the responsibility, and it forces her to make decisions by herself. Because whereas before, something would come up and it'd be, hey, what about this? Or, hey, we've got this question. Or, hey, what are we doing over here? And that's not the issue anymore. Like, I don't get those questions. You just figure it out.
Okay. All right. You mentioned something I want to just hit back on. You have reliability was your first word for your company.
Yeah.
What's the second?
Attention to detail.
All right. I think I understand that, but explain that from your Monday meetings and then when you hire and then into 5 years of working for you. That can mean a lot of different things for people.
Yeah. So attention to detail. Everybody says, oh, I got great attention to detail. And I'm like, okay, look at this wall over here and tell me what you see. And they're like, yeah, well, there's this, they'll point out the obvious, random holes and dings and nets and stuff like that. Attention to detail for us is we will make this space in this surface like brand new again. Like that's our goal. That's our mindset. Okay. My standard is like way up here. Okay. I will never, ever, ever meet my own standard, but I will always have this high bar that I have to jump over. So saying it's good enough or it'll work or that's okay does not fly with me, because those words are for people who fail. Okay. So if you are always pushing yourself to improve, you're always going to be better. Okay. I can do my best lay down. I can spray the finest finish that I've ever done and I can love it. But if I look real close, I'll find flaws in it. Right. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay, next time that's not going to be there, because next time it's got to be better than this. Is really good. Everyday homeowners looking at things with their untrained eye, they're not going to see this stuff, but I see it. And I want to make sure that making sure that it's not there on the next one.
All right. So that brings up a good point, because a lot of us, we die in perfectionism. We set these, we could talk about this forever, but we set this huge bar for us to maintain. And so many people are resanding down. We sit in this spiral of unfinishing because we see a little this, a little of that. Walk people through, I don't want them to misunderstand, setting a high standard and never meeting it. I don't want them to think that they got to just redo a whole project. You got to have some sort of baseline so you don't drive yourself berserk. Yeah. And then always improving for the next time. To the untrained eye for the homeowner is one thing. But ruining your company and profit margin because you're constantly going back and fixing stuff that nobody else sees except for yourself is second. So let's just reorganize that thought, not in a marine setting where, we have time and really the companies don't have time and money to do that. So how would you explain that to a rational thinking person?
Right. So I was that guy. Okay. Yeah. I went back and I reworked stuff all the time, kicking myself because it looked like it wasn't good enough. Yep. Second guessing myself, will the customer see this? What's good? What's the standard I need? So our third core value is integrity. Okay. So integrity by definition is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. And that plays into my attention to detail, because if I'm 100% putting myself into that finish, and I did everything that I possibly could do to get that finish good, I feel good about it, then I'm going to walk away from it. I shift and I switch off that perfectionist in me, right? Because I'm saying this is good. You're being picky now. The customer won't care. Okay. They're not going to see these things, right? Or you just decide, you know what? Show the customer, walk them through it, ask them. Hey, we're about ready to put the finish on this. What do you see? Is there anything that stands out to you? Does everything look good to you here? Right? And that helps too, because I've got those people that will come through with a magnifying glass or their LED lights or halogens and just find everything that's not actually there because they're illuminating stuff from the surface. So asking them what the standard is helps you also then to not maybe be so particular on what you're trying to do for them.
Is that, I'm guessing, is that a reason I've done that? I've given myself a buffer from myself in some situations where I needed that person to stop me from constantly reworking projects. Nobody saw it. You know, I've repainted houses top to bottom because the cut lines weren't good. And the guy was like, I remember this one guy's like, dude, I'm not paying you to repaint it. And I was like, no, I know you're not. I'm paying. And it was emerald on the walls. It probably cost $4,000 of paint, but the cut lines were, he was loving it. I was like, there's no way I could take pictures of this because if you zoom in, it just wasn't as crisp. And you can't repaint it without painting everything.
Right.
So I've put buffers in place for myself to do it. Asking the homeowner is a great one because they see about 20% of what you see anyway. Now, you brought up that LED light. That's a no-no for me. So I wanted to give you some kickback from there and make sure everybody's listening. Don't ever let a homeowner bring out an LED light. What's your humorous? It's got to be humor that you bring out because you're a big, intimidating guy. You can't just say, hey, MF, or put that away. How do you take it when the LED light comes out? Because it will happen. If it hasn't happened to you, you haven't painted long enough.
Yeah, so actually when it does happen, because it does happen regularly, I tell them, literally, put it away. You can't use that.
Yeah.
Your eyes are what you're going to see. The daylight is what's going to shine on this. That light is not natural. You do not have LED lights in this room on a regular basis. You don't have halogens in here. You're not even being realistic.
Yeah.
I will tell them it's like that.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, I'm serious. Don't look at the walls. Look at your walls with what you can actually look at the walls with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You're setting us both up for failure. Because I'm not going to rework something that you see on something that you're not naturally looking at it.
Yeah. Especially when they move the couch back in and they scrape their elbow on the wall and leave a mark.
Yeah.
All right. Your project manager, you have your trim carpenter. Let me get into, I got your routine. What are you doing in the week?
Shooting videos, posting things on Facebook.
All right. I'm going to let you run with that for a couple minutes.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Me on the backside. So I'm in the booth. When we've got cabinets in the booth, I'm in the booth. I schedule repaints and cabinets on off weeks. So I'll do a kitchen one week and then I'll do a repaint the next week. I'm needed for the cabinets. So I'm shooting doors and I'm shooting the boxes. And on the off weeks, I'm doing networking, I'm doing marketing, I'm doing trainings, that kind of stuff. So when I'm in the booth, obviously we're doing the doors and the kitchens, but a lot of the time, so all the prep, Avery does every bit of prep on the kitchen for me. So I literally walk into the kitchen. She'll give me about a 30-minute to a 40-minute heads up when she's ready for spray, whether it be primer or finish. And I'll show up. I'll take 30 to 40 minutes. I'll spray it out, and I'm out. And I go do whatever I got to do. I'm meeting with customers. I'm doing a lot of appointments. But that's how much time I'm actually on the job. This large repaint that we're working on this week, a lot of vaulted ceilings, a lot of high areas. I'm the ladder humper. Nobody around in my business is as agile on a ladder as I am. So I feel more comfortable with me being there doing that. So I can go in for half a day and knock out, all the high areas and get that area done for them. And then regular ceilings, go ahead and finish it up. So most of the time it's meeting with customers. I schedule roughly 4 to 5 appointments a week, estimates. That's on the low end. Sometimes I usually do morning and an afternoon. So I will do it first thing in the morning. I'll do it last thing in the afternoon. I might do that every day. So Monday through Friday, morning, afternoon appointments. Wednesdays, I network. This time right now is my administrative time. So from 9 a.m. until noon, it's just focused on appointments, scheduling things, keeping my Trello board nice and tight, follow up with any customers I haven't heard from, trying to get a response for them. My phone is off. It's not checking my email. It's just focus on the business. I might be working on different, putting all my systems that are all electronic, maybe putting those on paper. So we have our job checklist, that binder that goes to the job, so everybody can be using that if, technology doesn't work for us on a particular job or something. It's just those business related stuff.
What about, let's go into your marketing.
Yep.
And then we'll go from marketing into organization on the operations side. You are an exceptional marketer. Let's talk about who takes your photos. You take your photos. How are you taking your photos?
So I have, I got my phone, I got my XS, takes really good photos. And then I've got my Sony. I've got a really nice Sony camera that takes photos. So those are the two methods. So I take the photos, we upload the photos, get those all in my database, and I start branding them. Once I get, so all my devices are connected, so I get the photos onto my computer, and then I got them on my phone. On my phone, I have an app called Union, and it's just a simple joining two layers together app, so I can put my logo on it, and I do all the editing, everything that's necessary on the computer when I import all the pictures, and then I throw that logo on there, and then we're ready to go, and I can easily just post a picture twice a day. We do one at 10, we do one at 10. So it's easy that way. And it's a methodical thing for me. So once I start saying, okay, I'm going to start doing this every day, 10 a.m., I'm doing a video or I'm doing a post. 10 o'clock at night before I go to bed, I'm doing a video or I'm doing a post. So every single day, making sure I got those 2 points of connection between people.
How much are you spending on ads a day or a year? Can you break that down?
No, I can't break that down.
What do you think you're spending on?
I have an artistic mindset, so I use this side of the brain most of the time.
Okay. Wait, okay. How many times are you boosting a post?
So I boost a post. I used to do it 3 to 5 times a week. I've just started doing it probably twice. I've got 2 posts that will be boosted, and I'll run them for 10 days. So okay. I'll get to probably about day 5, day 6 left on that, and I'll boost it again, another one.
So you might have 6
I might have 4 going at any given time.
And how many, per day?
About 20 to 30 bucks. I'll throw 100 to 120 on the whole boost for the 10-day process. So it ends up being a daily breakdown of about, I think it's about $20.
Total.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll reverse engineer that number.
That's per boost. So 40 total if I'm running 2.
Well, you're running 4. So the most you can spend is $80 a day. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were spending $80 a day, it's 30,000 in Facebook ads.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And so far, I think I've got 159
jobs.
No. No. What was my report for Facebook ads?
159 what?
No, I'm misspeaking. Let me hold on.
Yep. So while he's figuring out his numbers, the 2-post system is so crucial because it's repetitive and people get used to it. Go ahead.
$122,000 from Facebook so far this year.
All right. So 122,000 from that half mark. Let's say that's the max you could have spent is 14 grand. And I could look it up for you if you did it or not.
Yeah.
So it's 122, right, divided by let's say you spent 14,000. Okay. Well, that's a great return on your money. Not many places can you multiply your money by almost 9 times than a Facebook ad. Now, what's really interesting to think about is as you sign me up to be admin onto your page, because we put in a Facebook bot there, the conversations that people have with you turn into leads because of the sequence of posting and accessibility that you have. So you might not be accessible to your employees, but speak on a platform of being accessible as the person leading the charge, if you will, for quality touch. People can actually talk to you and you engage quickly with them. Tell everybody who's watching this, because let me think. The only person who does, oh, he just signed off, but Greg goes live. So the person who goes live most on who's watching is Greg. The second person would be Chris. Tell us from an example point how, because it's free, and I keep pushing people to do this, the value of going live on Facebook.
Yeah, it's huge. I get, again, I mentioned it Saturday. I have a lot of people who follow me months after month after month, and they just love to see the stuff that I'm putting out there. They love to see the pictures. They love to see the projects. And so they'll just comment, love to see your work, can't wait to see the finished project. But then there's people out there who I don't know who they are. And they'll follow us, they'll comment, they'll like all of our stuff, and they're sharing it. I've got people that just share stuff. I have a group of people who are the sharers. I have a group of people who are the commenters. And I've got a group of people who are the likers, right? I've got this lady who I've been in contact with it's been on and off for about a year and a half. She got through the landing page. She submitted her form, had pictures, wanted to schedule an appointment. She's too busy. Her husband's too busy. I gave her my availability, and she likes every single solitary kitchen that I put on there, but she won't schedule a project to get her stupid, outdated, dark cabinets redone. And so I've got those people. And so for me, I'm accessible to everybody. The videos help because it makes me in front of people, right? So I did a trade show and I was that cabinet guy. And, I got these 3 ladies that come up and they're like, Jenny, this is the guy. This is the guy. I'm like, looking, and she was like, this is the guy who does the cabinets. And I was like, she goes, Facebook. I saw you on Facebook. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I was like, want a picture, Yeah. And so people see that, but it's not just some guy doing a video, you know what I mean? It's like, I am that guy. And then when they see me in person, it's like, oh, that's that guy that I saw that video on. And it becomes more real that way. And it's just like, my personality is, this is who I am. And it's like, you either like me or you don't. And the people who do, they buy with us.
Yep. Your Facebook Lives, they're candid. They make you accessible. You tell them basically how to purchase. This was my challenge for yesterday is, if I challenge you to let me know how to find you, exactly what you do and don't do, and how to hire you. You nail those 3 so fast in those lives. And then the rest of it is just good conversation, or just kind of like letting the live continue so people can just really interact with you and watch you. If you could, well, I've just started being admin, but some of the other guys in the group that I'm watching them go live, and then the automation picks up from a lead. Your automation, let's go into the operations side. You have, I don't know what month this is. Maybe this is past a year for using the automations. Tell people who don't have it how the automation helps you, and what it actually does. So without me saying anything.
Just for the record, I was number 1.
Okay? Oh, that's right. You were
number 1. Throw that out there, okay? Original spray man. Yep, this guy. So, the automations for me is it's key. It's everything. Because like I said, I want to simplify my entire operation. So, and I honestly, you can't tell by the way I'm responding, but I don't like people. I don't like engaging with people. I don't like conversation with people. I want to eliminate a lot of that if I can. And so for me, the automations helps that because it gives them all the information they need. It gives me all the information I need, and I don't have to talk to them and answer 101 stupid questions that people have that just drive me nuts and waste a lot of my time. So remind me again what the question was because I was.
How do you use it?
Okay, so you've got to have a landing page. So everybody out there that does not have a landing page, get a stupid landing page. It is the best thing that you can possibly do, and it's the easiest thing that you can possibly do. You get your landing page. I'm putting my link on every single solitary post that I do. So I'm always giving somebody a direct source of contact for me, like the best one. So picture goes out, and everybody's seen them, but picture goes out, title it, what it is, hardware. Next line is how to contact, right? So as soon as they read it, like this is how you got a URL here, click on it. And then some more information underneath that. So once you get the landing page down, the landing page gets all their information. Sophia puts all their information into my Estimate Rocket. Again, a couple guys on the fence about Estimate Rocket. Estimate Rocket is a time saver. It is a great system. There's a lot of ins and outs on it. There's a lot of ways to make it personable. The owner of the company there's only like 4 people that work at this company at Estimate Rocket. So the owner of the company is a very, very, very hands-on kind of guy. I've talked with him. I've told him exactly what my system was. I was actually developing Estimate Rocket before I found Estimate Rocket. I was operating on 6 different apps, taking it from this one and putting it over here, and then taking it from there and copying it to this one. It was just time consuming. So get Estimate Rocket. Once the information's into there, I get my text and it says, Sophia's contacting them. I get some pictures. So once I get my pictures, I don't have to contact anybody. I don't have to talk to anybody until somebody pulls the trigger and shows me that they're proactive and sends those pictures. If somebody doesn't send pictures, I'm not reaching out to them for a while. I'll wait and I'll sit there because I've got other people who are sending me pictures and they want projects done. So I'm gauging people's, seriousness by how proactive they are in getting to me. Okay. So I value my time. So I'm not going to just run around and just, throw bids out for everybody. So if somebody shoots me a picture, I will engage with them. So once I engage with them, I'm asking them questions. How many doors and drawers you have? If I can't tell from the pictures, and then I just give them a simple request of their availability. And I let them know that I'm available this next week on this day and this day. Which one works best for you? And I don't like to have a whole bunch of people saying, well, I'm usually available. I'm usually available in the afternoons, or evenings are really great for me. It doesn't matter because it doesn't work for me. I'm going to tell you when I'm available and when I can come out to see you because you have a need that you think already that I can fix or I can fulfill. So if that's the case, you're going to be flexible around my schedule to get me out to your house to look at your project that you want to get done.
The key about this whole thing is that backbone Trello.
Yes.
I'm not going to share your board, but Trello is such a basic. It's not complicated. I've used different CRM. It's not a CRM platform. It's just a way for you to visualize your workflow. The Estimate Rocket, I don't know if people are on the fence about it, but you simplify your workflow because Sophia puts the information into Estimate Rocket. So you've hit on the landing page, you've hit on Estimate Rocket, you've hit on Trello. The one thing that I think that I just do a little differently than you is just the scheduling appointments and how many of them I need a week. I give people Thursday and Saturday, but I'm also a little more hands-on sometime in the week than you. So you can do a bracket. But I think that one of the key takeaways for everybody to understand is you have to make them available to you, not you available to them. Unless there's circumstances like sellers only have 3 hours to get into a house for a showing. For me, if you're in my neighborhood, which is where I want to work, I could drive around the corner. That's a little different of a story. But Quincy, let's talk about scaling up your character in the place of painters, getting past the commodity painter into this high-end realm, doing things like that, making them available to your schedule. Do you have any other little things that you do that you're like, listen, slow down, I'm the specialist, you got to wait for me?
Um, I mean, I do decorative finishes. I just
Yeah, thank you.
so is that what you
Yeah, thanks.
so with that, like in my area, like so again, I'm an artist. I have a graphic design background, web design. So that's what I did. I know art really well. So when it comes to putting a nice finish down or matching colors or things like that, like I can do that all day long. Um, so our decorative finishes are all customizable. Like I can tweak any piece of it. So if somebody brings me a wallpaper print and they say like this is the wallpaper we want to put up, if I don't want to hang that wallpaper, I'd be like, okay, well, what if we did decorative finish instead? And I will match that decorative finish. You can bring me a piece of carpet fabric and say like I want this pattern on my wall. Bring me an alligator skin and say I want a man cave and I want an alligator skin on the walls. I can do that. Like I love that stuff. And so nobody in this area, painter wise, does something like that. So for a while, I was known as the creative decorative finisher, and I didn't get those regular paint jobs because people thought that it was below me. Even though that's how I founded the business, and I paid for my family or fed my family for decades, doing that. So
How do you promote it?
the decorative finishes.
Yeah, how does it come out? Because I'll tell you how it comes out for me after.
So usually, somebody said they want an accent one. I'm like, oh, like a decorative finish, and they're like, no, what's that? Right. So people don't know what decorative finishes are. If they say, oh, I want an accent one, I'm like, oh, like a faux finish. They're like, oh no, not a faux finish. I'm thinking of something like maybe a brighter color or a different shade or whatever. Everybody knows faux finishing, but we're way past garbage bags and glaze when on these finishes. This is multi-level stuff that we're doing. So um, those conversations, if somebody says, I'm looking for something unique, something different that just stands out, then obviously I'm going to show them my portfolio for decorative finishes. It's just it doesn't come out in conversation a lot in this area. There's a lot of designers who have big visions and stuff, but they're small thinking. They're not like the big city designers where they go in and they tell the customer, okay, you're going to do this, 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 and this because you hired me to make that decision for you. They're more like, oh, well, if you want to, you can do this and this, and you could do a decorative finish over here that Quincy will provide, or you could just paint it a different color. So designers aren't. Whenever you're talking about designers, like hit up the designers, like in my area, that's not the thinking they have, so it's not a good resource for me in that regard.
Oh, sorry. Who's here? I might have to mute Mark. No, that's good. All right. The way that it comes up for me, and I think that people need to always be pushing for this ancillary, this side offer, is when people are talking cabinets and you're looking around their house and they see other wallpaper or you see something that's possibly finished that didn't come from the factory, bringing it up in conversation. Oh, I didn't know that you liked wallpaper. We not as like abrupt as saying we also hang wallpaper, but a side conversation would be if you ever wanted wallpaper, we do hang it.
Right.
Just a different way of bringing that into really the pitch. It's you're probably not going to nail it on that that, like you said, millennial painting everything Revere pewter and white. You're not going to get them to do a metallic decorative finish on an accent wall because it's probably more expensive than the house painting itself. But you really have to mind your manners when you do offer those services. It has to be for the right clientele. And a good way is just to look around the room. If you know the wallpaper styles, sisal, damask, etc., just read up on it. If you don't read up on it, because there's a really good intros to get really high-end margin sales. What I asked you the other day was when we build out your Facebook bot, we're going to add in there that we're going to add a wallpaper option in there. So you need to read up on some of the wallpaper. And if you look behind me, I have all those wallpaper books. You know, and you do need to know the prints. You need to know what you're talking about. Just like we're talking 2K poly and Molessi and all this other stuff. It's good to know what you're talking about, because these extra decorative finishes, and I really, if you want to share your website, the finishes that you provide are like ridiculous. So I don't think that people even know the caliber of finisher you are. If you don't, really look up to Quincy, because he's meticulous in his finishes, he's meticulous in his business, and he's just got a way of keeping things organized for an artistic person. And I think that's why we should be listening to him on a regular weekly basis, because like he said, he doesn't like to deal with people. We are in the painter and finisher world. We're like introverted artistic people naturally. We are in our own heads a lot. Like, we live between our ears. And, you know, as extroverted as we need to be at times, the majority of the time for artistic people like you and I, we are in our own head. And nobody understands the battle better than somebody else in their own head, or, you know, because that's where we live as well. So when you meet somebody like Quincy, who's figured it out how to get it on paper and live by a system, but is also an introvert, doesn't like to deal with people, likes however we'll deal with conflict resolution at a different time, but is an introverted person, is very artistic. How he dealt with doing that, but running a business in a corporate manner, it's something to really look up to, because you can get organized. Because most of the people's problems in this group and in the painting world and in basically the artistic painting world, which is different than construction. Contractors aren't like we are. Painters are a different breed of construction people. We can't run it like a roofing company can run it. You know, F you, we're not coming on Monday. You know, we're different. We're like more sensitive to everyone else. We have more empathy as a people. So as I run this on, you need to get organized. Quincy's organization method, I hope we laid it out pretty good today. He's so organized to the point that he's making his breakfast for the week on Saturday. But he's also not a type A extrovert. That's just what he's built his process to protect. If you listen to all the words he's saying, he's protecting himself. He's putting a barrier around himself because he just doesn't like to deal with the things that he doesn't want to be unprepared for. He's so prepared for all the things. So as you listen to him, as you listen to what he's saying, he's buffering himself because he's introverted, and he's buffering himself from being protected by being prepared. These are all free things to do. These are all simple things to implement, but like he said, I don't know the exact words, but it was, you have to just stick by how you get addicted to it. You're addicted to being prepared. That's the easiest part. So what else do you want to add on here? I mean, I don't want to spill it all the first day that we do this. Who's got questions?
Let's see who's got some of the questions.
Anybody have any questions? I'm going to unmute everybody. If you all want to ask any questions, my daughter's calling me. I came for the push-ups. Gene came for the push-ups. I don't know if we're doing any push-ups today, Gene.
Just last night. It's a little sore, Gene. Sorry.
Yeah. How about, if nobody has any questions,
something.
I think everybody's going to be a better.
Answer everybody's question. Don't be shy. We're all family.
Yeah, I mean, let's speak. That's crazy. Sprayman Group's been around for just about 2 years. How about this? How have you changed since we started this group?
I think about spraying everything now.
How organized were you before?
I was still organized, but I mean, definitely. I mean, since I started using Trello, I mean, that's helped a lot. holes in the, like I said, I was working on 6 different platforms to try to get, between getting the customer and all that stuff. So that piece has made me a lot more organized. Having Sophia has made me more organized. Estimate Rocket has made me more organized. I already had it before, but I wasn't really utilizing it to its fullest. Now that I have the incorporations with the automations.
Mike, you got to say something? Mike.
Nope. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but no. I'm just pressing buttons trying to figure out how to work this thing.
You have any questions for Quincy?
No, I'm trying to come up with something, but no, man, not off the top of my head.
Okay. You were about to get your something. Maybe it was a Facebook bot. How organized are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm the least organized person in this group, probably. It drives me crazy.
What would you like to do?
As far as what? What do you mean?
No, forget the automation. Like, where do you need help?
Man, if I would say I need help in one area, it would be, I mean, really within myself. I have this tendency to overwork on the job and then be like, F this sucks, and then, go ballistic with something else. Balance. I'm very, very unbalanced, I think would probably be the simplest way that I could put it. That tends to be my biggest flaw. We've got a legitimately crazy life, and I lean on that as an excuse a lot. We've got 3 kids, and I work a lot. My wife just a week and a half ago got done with school full time, so life should get a little bit easier. But I have no balance.
Quincy, that's like super your department.
This is the Marine in me, all right? I hear people all the time. They're like, "Oh, I got this, and I got this, I got this." We all got this, right? It's all up here.
100%, dude. No, I lean on that as an excuse, and I'm aware that I do it, but I continue to do it.
Okay, so how about
if that makes any sense?
Yeah. So I did these things, right? So I've not always been this way. My mind has not always been where it's at right now, and I'm progressively getting better. But I would just work and push because I had to get it done, and I had to get it onto the next project, and I had to get that check, right? And so
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's a lot of our thinking. But then I got my priorities straight, right? So you got 3 kids. I got 3 kids. You got a wife. I got a wife, right? They are the most important thing to me in this world, right? I will do anything. I will kill anyone for those people, right? They became my priority, right? So my son is 8, and I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old daughter. And my oldest daughter is going to be gone from my house in less than 5 years, more than likely, right? So I've got 5 years that I need to spend the most time with her and make the most impact so that she doesn't grow up and fall for some joker who's going to abuse her and treat her. Because as a dad, she's going to model everything that I am in finding her husband, her future husband, right? So my family is priority. So I end my day at a certain time. And I just say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we'll be back tomorrow because I've got priorities. And I'm okay with that. I walk away and I mentally switch off my head and say, my family's more important to me and I'm leaving. And so we work from 8 to 4. We shut it down. I do not do any appointments after 4 o'clock because I'm going to be at home before 5 o'clock so that way I can decompress and I can have dinner with my family and we can spend time together before they go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's fantastic.
Let me jump in there.
So
go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, so that's, and again, I tend to lean on things as, I guess, an excuse, but that's kind of my, I guess, near future. My biggest goal now that she is out of school that frees up some of my free time to where I am hoping to be able to do that. I want to hire on, I will be hiring on within like a month, my first full-time guy, at least since I moved to Florida. And my goal really isn't even to make more money. It's just to make more time. Because
time, Mike. It doesn't happen. We all got 24 hours. That's it.
Right.
You're not going to make any more.
So let me
No,
jump in.
make myself available more, I guess I should have said.
Yeah, you gotta do less.
But do less. You know what I mean.
Yeah. We need. So it's funny that. Well, it's not even funny. It's kind of sad that so many of us sit in this grind of wasting time doing the same thing that that's either somebody else could do or something else could do. So what you need to do is, first and foremost, if you're going to read anything, read that book Profit First, because most of us get at the end of the year and we go past six figures, and then when we look at what's actually left in the bank, we think it's all for nothing. I worked so hard, I pushed myself, and I have no profit left.
Yep, been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. So the philosophy that I'm going to start pushing is the philosophy of Profit First. So you can make sure that you're doing this for a reason, because the flip side of that is, let's work 18-hour days. And just like Quincy said, that would be a failure in his book because we turn off at 4 o'clock. But in our book, we're working harder for our family. So instead of doing 8 hours, 8 to 4, we're going to work 8 to 8 and do 12 hours. But at the end of the year, there's no money left over. So you start kicking yourself. And then the depression sets in, because not only do you not have any money left, you don't have any time, and you missed all the time with your family. So you need to put some systems in place to start to free up some of that time to make sure that the process is easier. That's why I keep pushing automations on people, because it frees up time. We can't make time, but it gives us a little wrinkle in time, because it does all those processes for us, keeps us more organized, to give you the ability to do what Quincy's doing and shutting it down at 4 o'clock. I got to be honest with you. That would be crazy for me to even think about 5 years ago. Shutting it down at 4 o'clock and saying, Mr. Homeowner, forget it. We're leaving. My family's more important. Mentally, I know my family's more important. Did that ever come out in my work environment? No, because I had my philosophy wrong. I had my organization was way off. But now my organization's on, my automations take over. It's easier for me to make those decisions. Mike, 3 months ago, I think, as you're on my board, that we talked about it, and now 3 months has gone by. Again, I'm not going to push you to do anything, but in those 3 months' time, are you saving money? Are your operations getting any better? Do you stop at 4 o'clock and enjoy your family? Probably not. The thing that Quincy's saying, that Marine mentality, is we only have 24 hours in a day. Can we make the most of it? And instead of increasing our revenue and bringing on more people, you need to make the commitment to get the things that make you more lean and mean and organized. Those need to happen first, and then you can grow.
And also, one thing you should do in the business, I did everything. We were doing new construction, we're doing exteriors, we're doing interiors, we're doing drywall, we're doing plastic, every single thing. And so I had to scale back and focus. So if you're doing a lot of stuff, maybe there's a lot of stuff that you don't need to do in order so that you can do the things that you're really, really good at and the things that are transfer. So for me, cabinets are my bread and butter right now. That is like, I mean, I can go on a repaint job, and everybody knows this. You can do a repaint job with 4 to 6 people for 1 to 2 weeks and make as much as you could make working one cabinet job in a 7-day period. Like, that's a no-brainer for me. So I'm totally 100% on focusing on cabinets because it's less manpower and it's less work that I have to do because I've got my prep going down by somebody else and all I got to do is spray. So that frees up me to have to do a lot of things. So that's why I can check out at 4 o'clock with no concerns, because I know that I'm on track and everything's good. That Profit First that Yanni's talking about, I have a hard time reading it and trying to implement it because I'm already paying myself a good salary. I've already got my retirement fund. I've already got my rainy day fund. I've already got these pieces in place where I'm not losing anything. At the end of the day, there's a profit on the accountant's papers, but there's also a profit in my book because I know that I'm taking money throughout the year and I'm putting money aside for myself. So that kind of things, all that happened after I went through the life that you're living right now, Mike. But it was all right here. I got to the point where I said, okay, I have to do something. And obviously the easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
Yeah, dude, I would say that I hit that I've got to do something point about 2 months ago. to touch a little bit on what you said, I've really done the focus on the cabinet thing. I moved to Florida like 2 years ago. And, when I first moved, it was just eat. Whatever the hell I had to do to eat, it didn't matter. I took everything. And, slowly I won't do any more drywall repair. Now I won't do any more outsides. I'll still bid interiors, but I bid them high enough to where I price myself out of most of them. I've got a few customers that I take care of, and I'm still super fair with, property managers, stuff like that. But I've kind of tried to do the same thing where my growth has been more toward doing the work that I want to do that makes me the most money, as opposed to just trying to grow revenue and add guys. Instead of trying to grow and grow revenue, I have just hacked out shit that I don't want to do, or that doesn't make enough money, or that's, not pleasant. And I'm not at the point where I'm making, at least like, I'm making a good living. I'm certainly not making a killing, but I'm making a good living working solo. And now I'm really trying to focus on growth, particularly in the cabinets. And when I do get that new hire for the first time is when I'm really going to be able to, do something like shut it down at 4. I don't think I'll be able to shut it down at 4, but at least start implementing those ideas.
Mike, what
to shut it down at 4?
One more time? I couldn't hardly hear you.
Make a goal to shut it down at 4.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic. I'm actually going to write that down. It sounds silly. But I'm actually going to write that down.
No, it's not silly.
Because it's so easy to just not.
Yeah, easy. You get a phone.
It's gonna. Yeah, even if.
Right, like you just there's always something more to do, but
always.
At the end of the day, it drives you insane, and it causes you more frustration.
Yeah, 100%.
I might have to write that down because I can't even. I'm so stubborn at that. When you said that, my stubbornness takes over, and I'm thinking like, there's no way. And then I think about all these union guys that shut it down at like 2:30.
Well, we don't need to be union.
But the mentality is they look and they go, nope, it's time for we're turning it off. And I'm thinking like we still got 8 hours left.
Yeah, they still take 17 breaks throughout the day.
Yeah, well, you get the
so
comedy relief. Say it again.
Yeah, I said I came from that. I was a union guy when I very first started out, and man, to 3 o'clock, I'm out of here. F you guys, don't care what's got to be done. Blah 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 blah. Forget about work until the next day, man. I miss that. I don't miss working for somebody else. I make a hell of a lot more than I used to, but yeah, that whole mentality of just like shut off work, go live real life. Man, dying to get back to that.
You already have the mindset. You've been hindering it.
Well, maybe it's his on-site process that he's not getting to where he needs to be every day. Like, I know where I need to be after the end of every job. Now, what's crazy is when you work solo, Mike, this is definitely for you and all the people that work solo, we start to get a little flexible on ourselves because it doesn't really hurt us mentally that we're paying somebody to go an extra day. We start to bulk all this money together as in our head as a profit when we're a solo entrepreneur. But when you get an employee, 2 days doing the same task it's double the cost, and you're having the profit for that day. So forcing yourself to start increasing your on-site efficiency with another person, Mike, specifically for you, going from 1 to 2 people, would force you to say, listen, here's our goal for the week. We need to be done this by Tuesday, this task by Thursday, and then we'll be given the kitchen back on Friday. Now, what's interesting to Quincy's perspective, to your situation, is we as solo entrepreneurs can not give ourselves any barriers or protection, and we can only work so hard. But when you hire somebody else, you cannot instill. And you can instill laziness on them, or you can instill task efficiency on them. So when you tell that new person, hey, listen, we're going to get 2.5 people's worth of work done each day, and we're going to close out a Friday project on Thursday, they don't know that. They just know in their head that this is what they have to do. You will increase your efficiency by about 1.25 person every other person you hire. So 2 people can pull the same amount of weight as 2.5 or 3 people at times. So you're going to start forcing your efficiency routine with that extra person. You'll probably just lollygag by yourself because you've given yourself this freedom and this kind of lackadaisical environment, if you will, because you have no pressure of payroll.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah. So we should have an off conversation again, because you need to free up some of your task time. Just even if you just got Estimate Rocket or something easy, just to get your information, so you're not doing it. Do you have any hires do you have any people that you're looking to hire?
So I do. I've got a couple. I've got a dude who he just kind of sporadically would work for me. He's like he was out of high school. He's like a 19-year-old kid. I don't know why. College didn't work for him. I got a call. I don't know if that disrupted my talking. But he's a relative of somebody I knew. And he was like 19. He was a good kid. And then I actually just got a call from Tyler Hansen from all the other groups. He's got an ex-employee who was doing cabinets for him that's moving to my town. And I actually had a conversation with the guy yesterday, and he sounds like I haven't met him. When he comes down here, we're going to go have some coffee or drinks or something and kind of beat it around. And I told him, maybe I'll put him to work for a couple of weeks cash and see how it goes, and if we're a good fit, blah, 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 blah. But I've actually got a couple of guys in the pipeline who I'm hoping to make one of them full-time. Go ahead.
No, listen, I go through about 100 people for every 2 I keep. So just keep your expectations at somewhere in that range, or even like a quarter of that.
My expectations are very, very low.
Yeah. So
they're very, very low.
Yeah. Did you show up? Did you ask for money day 2?
Right.
You're going to go through these things, but do what Quincy does, dude. Set expectations and walk away. Don't my biggest problem with hiring is sitting on top of the people every 20 minutes. It's not going to get anything done. Yep. You got to be a good hire. You got to be a good supervisor.
In Illinois, I had 2 full-time guys, and I'm a terrible supervisor, and I'm not that good of a trainer either. I'm relatively organized, and I'm a fairly good manager, but I'm lackadaisical in training. I'll show you how to do something and just throw you to the wolves, and then come back like, dude, why didn't you do that right? And it's like, well, you showed me for 15 effing minutes. How am I supposed to?
So you have your own problems.
Oh yeah, I can self-analyze really well.
Quincy, this is where you should come up with a training manual, because this would be so easy for you to get to share with people. And then people like you, Mike, who are like, I don't understand why you didn't read my mind.
That's exactly it.
We all get it. We're oddly artistic, and we think that you think what we're thinking.
Yeah, right.
How do you not know that? I should have used my telepathy a little stronger on you. But we're way over time. This was really good. And I think next time, Quincy, we're just going to have a row of questions. And then once we're into the Facebook Live group, I think it'll be a lot easier to bounce a question back. If anybody has any questions, Gene wants to do more push-ups. I think if anybody has any questions, there's a chat for questions. Do you have any other questions? Besides
not me.
Quincy making you do push-ups?
Hey, I'm all for push-ups. You're not going to be able to see them because I'll be on the floor. And it doesn't go that low. We'll have to have a group setting at some point here, and we can push up all day long, Gene.
Yeah, I think Gene unmuted himself. Does he want to do push-ups? I think that's what's going on. What's up, Gene?
I said one thing about push-ups, and the rest of my chat was like, man, good information, all that. There's none of that. So Quincy thinks I'm a punk.
No. Listen, Gene's a really good – I think people underestimate his marketing ability. Gene is a really fantastic – he's a really smart guy. He's very analytical. He's very good at marketing. But tell us what you're struggling with right now. Open format.
Yeah, that's why I muted my phone. I knew that question was coming. I can't. I'm trying to. I'm just trying to get over, I guess, my own mental humps. It was interesting listening to Quincy. He talks about you guys as being artists and introverted, and I am the opposite. I love art. I love graphic design. I took 4 years of art in school, and I've been to the Met in New York, but I can't draw to save my life. And I'm extroverted. I'm a people person, dude. I'm the Italian guy at the barbecue that, that loves it. So I'm just trying to get past myself. I like painting for the same reason that I used to love my landscape company. I like the change that it makes. I like making people happy. But I think I'm afraid of the challenges. I watch the group, and I'm watching you guys progress, and it's amazing. And I know you got to push through, but, and then one of you guys gets a chip on a door, that just sets in this panic to me. And that's why I keep asking, hey, how's the quality of the new doors you ordered, Johnny? Did you switch to conversion varnish for a reason? Because I'm trying to take a turn before I get to the challenges. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're not scared of the challenges. You're just scared of not being able to fix them. Because let me be straight honest with you. There is nobody in this group, unless they're liars, in the big group, the bigger group, or even this group, that we don't screw up. There's chips on doors and we don't get callbacks. I don't care who you are.
But you know what the key to that is? I can fix everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Gene, if I showed you the doors that I'm bringing back from a job that we did 6 months ago, the finish is failing. It was put on too heavy from one of my guys, and it's mudding. So there's huge cracks in the finish, and it's probably like 2 mil too thick that it did that. But I'm sanding all the doors down 3 at a time, and I'll do 3 a week. And yes, it will probably take 5 months, but that's just something that you have to go through. But like Quincy said, it's incremental adjustments. It's not sand them all down day 1 or day 2 after you finish day 1, because then you'll never profit. You are extroverted, which is a real good benefit to problems compared to somebody like me, or I don't know about Quincy. But when there's problems, we like to put our barriers in front of us and kind of sit back on our defense. Someone like you would be like, all right, I've screwed it up. I'm going to go get 3 doors a week, and then I'm just going to replace, I'll be slow and steady, but I'll do it. But you can't sit back and not take the failure. Dude, the failure is coming. This is paint. We're painting crappy doors that have been in homes for 30 years to make them look brand new. Think about what I just said. This is not fine art. This is not rock. This is not metal. This is dirty, oily, used wood doors. So the expectation that probably I'm a fault for is setting this like bar that's incredibly high and superhuman. But dude, it's a shit show if you think that it's perfect every single time, or I don't have to do, what is in my garage right now. And I brought them back to my house. This way I can pal around with my kids and sand doors down. But you're not scared of the challenge. You're scared of not knowing what to do with failure. The problem with everybody using different material in the big group, jumping from one to the next, to the next, to the next, is remember in the loan industry when we went from option 1 to gateway to all these other programs came out, and you were like, oh, it sounds great, but how's the underwriter?
Exactly.
And you're like, no, I'm going to wait for Joe, Mike, and Lou to go try the underwriter before it kicks back with 45 stips, and we'll never get this deal done. I don't care what LTV it's at.
That's right.
All right, so you understand that process. But once somebody did it, then you were like, okay, I'll deal with the stip sheet when they come in. So we can relate on that level. And what did you deal with the client when things went awry? You dealt with it head on, and you worked through it. It might take another 45 days. Cabinetry finishing and painting is based on the experience level you get with failure. Cabinetry finishing is not based on the experience you get without failure. The better you are at painting means that you've experienced more failures firsthand and you fix them. The people that jump product are the ones that are thinking it's the product that's going to save their ass the next time. Once you get to a level of product, I don't care what it is, it will fail on you the more you use it. It's just a percentage game because you're dealing with people that are mixing the product, people at the facility, people that are mixing the product on site, air, humidity, temperature, air movement, dirt, you know, all these things considered, guess what, Gene? It's not grass. You're going to fucking fail. But so I didn't mean curse. But you're going to have to learn from that. How about the first time that you let somebody use a weed whacker and you didn't put one of those things that clips the string and they rip through the bushes.
Yeah.
Dude, it happens. I remember they did it to we had planted flowers, or they planted flowers a week before, and then they had a new guy do the trimming, and dude, all the flowers were gone. And I was like, what happened? He goes, I put a new spool of thing on. I was like, oh my God, dude, you got to make sure it's not 3 feet long when you do it.
Yeah.
But you fixed it. So cabinetry, finishing, painting, high-end work. People only know you failed when you told them you failed. That's all that matters. You got to go back and fix it. What you really need is a line that you say to these people, and everybody has one. What I say, my line is, I come in and I look at the door and I go, that's interesting. And usually it's not like, oh, I fucked up. I go, that's really interesting. I said, this is what happened here. This was put on too heavy, and it's really hard to figure out how, you know, I mean, it's such a milliscopic too heavy. But I said, here's the solution. I got to take these doors down and I got to sand them and redo them. And they're like, oh, okay. That's it. You're scared of your own shadow. It's going to happen. Nobody can jump in here and be Quincy. Look at this stuff that he produces. It's crazy. But he doesn't even think he's good. He's still setting his own standards. He's going higher and higher. So the profit is in the process. You getting a better process will make your profits go up. But you doing the right job will give you that profit. If you're constantly beating around the bush and doing what's easy, you're never going to break through, because there is not enough time in the world to do everything. So you got to profit on the ones that pay you the most. Mike is having the same realization. He's good at what he does, but he's doing too many odd end jobs in this same world because he thinks he doesn't have enough people, which he'll get somebody else. And that's really it. And he's not organized to keep it flowing. You're organized. You have the people, but you're scared of something that's going to come anyway. You know it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you it's going to happen. The reason that I put my cell phone number out and where I'm available is when shit hits the fan, you can call me. Creston had a problem. He used a water-based glaze, and he tested a solvent-based glaze. So his homeowner approved the glaze he didn't buy. He thought he could match it with something else. He sprayed half the kitchen and it didn't match. And I said, well, what did you think would happen? He said, I thought it would match. I said, well, why didn't you do a 2-inch test piece? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, now you have to sand it all down and do it all over again. And he's like, oh, okay. And that was it. It happens. Dude, it happens. But we've been battling this out, me and you, for 18 months.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. No, man, I'm glad I tuned in today. Today was good stuff, man. Quincy's got a lot of stuff organized. You guys asked some good questions. And I think that's why I wasn't asking questions, is because, you know, sometimes it's good to shut your mouth and just listen and assimilate and then meditate on it later.
Yeah. You need to, man, I wish I could just fly to, or just do a job with you, just so you can see how easy it really is, because it's not complicated. It's a machine, it's paint, and it's a spray pattern. Masking out is methodical. It takes time. It's basically 20 hours of masking. It's a 10 to 1. 10 hours of masking, 1 hour of spraying in a kitchen. That's it. Right. If you line a job up with enough advanced time, dude, I will fly to Orange Beach and do that job with you. If you give me enough time. If you give me like 4 or 5 weeks out, that would be awesome. Dude, I would love to come down.
Man, that's an awesome offer.
If you do that, if you give me 4 or 5 weeks out, I will come down for 3 days and do a job with you, because I think you're the only one in this group that hasn't really tried but can do it. Everybody in this group has tried. I mean, I don't think that you're in this group if you haven't tried to do cabinets, but if you need that 3-day kick in the butt, dude, I'm coming down.
Yeah, no, I've tried a couple. You know, I've tried it with my airless. You know, I don't have an HVLP yet, but I think what I was at was, you know, I told you guys before, you know, I used to have a big landscape company, and then it tanked when the market fell, had several employees, you know, yada, yada, you know, same old crap that, you know, boo-hoo. And so I've been sitting around going, do I want to put the effort into this? You know, I like the marketing aspect of it. I like that stuff. And I have some other goals with, you know, e-com or whatever. But the more I listen to you guys, the more I'm like, man, this could be the vehicle to get me to where I want to be. And I don't know. I just haven't.
Dude, it's bread and butter. Just sell a job, get somebody to help. All right. So sell a job, give me enough time, bring somebody to learn or that has HVLP experience, and that's your company. Then you will, because you're really good at marketing, and I know you don't want to spray. This isn't, let's not beat around the bush. This isn't what you're meant to do. But you are meant to market for the company. So if you have the right trained employee and you have the marketing experience, what else do you really need? You just need a trained person to come to do it. So your challenge is telling you, give me like 4 or 5 weeks out, 3 days, set it up for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then you could do the install on a Friday. You'll have it broken down on Monday. We'll start masking out and priming the first. I mean, don't make it like an 80-piece kitchen, but if you can keep it like 40, 50 pieces or less, or even small one, it would be perfect. Okay. I could show you how that's done, because a 30-piece kitchen is a 60-piece kitchen. A 60-piece kitchen is a 100-piece kitchen. It's all the same.
Right.
And just try not to do oak, because that's just going to be a pain in the ass.
Get one of those nice little condos.
Well, man, I appreciate it.
What?
Get one of those nice little condos you got down there, Gene.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like a 27-piece kitchen. We'll probably have that done by – we'll have that done by 6 o'clock the first day.
Right.
Yeah, but think about it. If you had a $2,500 – I don't know what your minimums are down there, but if you had a $2,500 minimum, you had one guy on it for 3 days or 4 days, you're paying him even $1,000 worth of material. You're making $1,500 a week. That's a good income for one guy. Then you increase that from a $2,500 minimum to a $4,000 minimum. Then you just added on $1,000 to $1,250 a week of pure profit. Then you just bring in one extra person, and you could try to knock out a job in a half a week. It just starts to escalate. And then we get to a point where that's where you got to have market flow. And then you start raising that bar and do the specialty finishes and just get more expensive per piece. That's the only way. You're not increasing time, but you're increasing profit per minute.
Yeah, no, that sounds great, man. And I just need to pull the trigger. I mean, 18 months kind of hurt my feelings. I didn't realize I've been following you guys that long, but
18 months, Gene. Come on,
man. I got people following me for months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, what sucks is if you sit back and look at it, what if I would have went ahead and pulled the trigger 18 months ago? Where would I be now? And that's so cliche, it's dumb, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and guess what? You used to tell the same people when you were refinancing them.
Right.
If you did this, you would have saved $400 a month. I don't know why you waited. The opposite is, if you did this 18 months ago, not only would you have failed enough times, you would have been the guy on the other end of this saying, I have 6.
Should have done a sample first.
The what?
He would have been telling Creston that he should have done a sample first.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You'll be the one to call. That's why this group is so cool, because it's, you have experienced people, and it's like a little family brotherhood, even though there's girls in it, brother, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it. We're all here to push ahead, and you are a good, stable person in this group. I don't know if people know your family background, but you're a stable person. And that's why you're scared to go do something else that breaks away that instability. You have people like me, like Mike, who we can take on – I don't know if, Mike, you're still listening, but we could take on a ridiculous challenge and say, you got it, let's do this thing, and kind of throw it all into the wind, but – bring our families with us. Quincy's not, I don't know if Quincy's like that as much, but I can take on a risk. You're a little more risk adverse. You're really, really stable, but we have to break through that and give you the all the empowerment of knowing that failures are going to happen, but let's just change how we react to them. Quincy, tell me if I'm wrong, but sometimes you walk into a finish, like, it's a possible failure, but you don't know until tomorrow. So you call it a day at 4 o'clock and you're like, I'm going to show up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then we're going to see how, and you laugh it off.
Yeah.
You're like, guess what? We're sanding all this shit off today.
Because that's
And
the
doing it
worst.
again.
Yeah. So the worst case is that, like you said, I'm sanding it off and I'm gonna spray it again.
And then you'll get a better finish because you sand down all the way to raw wood.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, some of those finishes are 50-50, could go either way. And what it always happens that you should just sand it to raw wood anyway.
Yeah.
Get a great finish. But Gene, 4 or 5 weeks out, let's do a job. Well, that was the whole idea of Sprayman version 2 was on-site, me coming on site and flying around the country and doing jobs with people. I think it would be fucking awesome.
Sure. No, man, great offer. I appreciate the kick in the butt, man. I know you guys' time is valuable, so thank you. And I'm gonna head out, but I really appreciate it.
Well, I hope you call and you get me a job to come down to.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start looking today, bro.
You got it. I'll
All
bring
right,
my
thanks,
bathing suit.
See you, Gene.
All right, guys. Anybody else want to be on the hot seat?
No, man, but legitimately, if he gives you 5 weeks notice on something and I could catch a relatively inexpensive flight, I'll go up there and do it with you.
Hell yeah, man.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and you're right outside Tampa.
Yeah, a little south of Tampa.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, we've got a little like regional airport. If I could catch a flight out of my regional airport to his or something, and it's not $500 flight each way or something, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's definitely not $500. And if you didn't know, Orange Beach, Alabama is gorgeous.
I had no idea. I mean,
it's one of the nicest destination beaches in the Gulf. It's like Destin Beach, Florida. The water is perfect. It's like a friendly. It's not really a tour. It's a little touristy, but it's not like a wild party. It's a lot of families there, and the beach is really nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I totally do it.
Cool. I guess anybody else want to sign up for the Sprayman Orange Beach Challenge? All right, guys. Wait, Greg. Wait, live. Yeah. Greg. Yeah, definitely. Greg, I'm gonna get him on next time because he's like one of the biggest inspirational growths in this group. It's crazy how he went from a year, or even when he started here, to now. It is unbelievable. We're talking about somebody that told me they had no Facebook marketing experience, not a lot of experience in fine finish world. Changed the whole avenue of his game from how he's identified himself as a painter to where he is now. I think we'll bring him on either later today or next week because I love Greg. I think Greg's like superhero Sprayman. It's unbelievable. All right.
Hey, really, really quick, Yanni, on that subject, I would love to hear from either Greg or Ricky because I see both of them just kicking ass when it appears that it appears they've grown a ton. I'd love to hear from either of them if you're going to bring those guys on.
Greg, are you there?
Hey.
Yo.
Hey, I'm here.
All right. So let me walk you through this. I was probably a little over a year ago. We might have started the Sprayman group, or you came in, but you've changed from Southern boy painter to like this called on machine for high-end finish work. Tell Mike's got a question of how that transition happened. And then why don't you lead us into the marketing that and listen, I know you're not a marketing guy to start, but you've turned into this like like painter lead company because you're just hammering it in. So, give us a little rundown.
Well, the one thing that I have really appreciate that the group has done is inspired me to go live more. Going live has done more for my advertising than probably any single thing that I've done. And the times that I have got the actual customer on live with me, I have got a lot of positive feedback from that. And when you got a customer that is willing to go live and say, hey, this is the guy you want, that's very powerful. So, but just posting, I really appreciate all the good pictures and stuff you've let me use over the past. And And just when you're making quality posts, people start to recognize, say, hey, this guy, he knows what he's doing. I know a lot of the pictures that I post are from Yanni, but there's nothing there. I don't post anything that I can't do. So I try to make good posts every day if possible. So that in itself just, and going live was really, really hard for me to do, but it has proven that it's well worth the effort, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. So that would be my recommendation.
Now, Greg, when you go live, we talked about this the first time you did it. You don't have a script. You just kind of talk about what you're doing, and then any questions, and then make it a few, somewhere between run-on sentences. And you tell us. Here's the biggest question people ask: what do I say? How long do I go? And what happens if I don't know what to say? What would you say?
I just try to picture myself as talking to maybe one or two individuals at a time, and try not to get overwhelmed, and just try to go through basically just what I'm doing. We're cleaning, we're sanding, we're prepping, we're protecting all of your belongings, and just try to keep it as basically just showing them what you're doing. To me, it's been the easiest thing for me.
Yeah, I think you've really shown people the philosophy that that I always hammer home, what happens during the process, people are most interested in. I think you do the ratio that I try to promote all the time is most of the time it's the during process. How clean are they? What do their guys look like? What are they wearing? How are they protecting my stuff and my house, et cetera, et cetera? And you really hammer that home. And I mean, your Southern drawl really takes it away. But you've really hit on the during, the stages of it.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you constantly pushing us to go live, because that really is it's free, and it's people really pay attention to it. They get a notification instantly. Hey, Hampton Fine Finishes is live. So you can't get that with just posting a picture.
Now you're going live, so everybody knows, from your business page.
Yes, from my business page.
And that's really important, because if you ever wanted to promote that video, you've got to do it from your business page. You can't go live from your personal page and promote a video of what you're doing.
Right.
All right. Very cool. All right. I think that's it, unless Mark has something to say. Mark, I don't know if you're there. If you want to talk, Mark, if you have anything to say, now is the time.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello. Yanni.
Yeah, Mark.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
Yeah. No, so I've been on almost the whole time. Just a great bunch of information, what you and I have been dealing with lately. So I don't know if my situation is different than or most people in the group, whereas I'm not the one, and maybe Gene is similar, I'm not the one doing the work. I've had my residential business for almost 20 years, started getting into the cabinet work a couple of years ago. Kind of stopped really being the hands-on guy a while back and just focused on, managing and growing the business. So, what I found the biggest challenge for me is finding, obviously, as many of you, finding the right people to do great work. And especially in the cabinet refinishing, where what I've learned is primarily through this group. And now I need to know that I've hired the right guy that's doing the work that, I have the expectations for. We're still kind of really trying to nail down our process, and, we're just having actually a really hard time getting the HVLP, fine-tuned to have it work the right way. We've been actually falling back on the airless more than I want to, but we're just having a real tough go with the HVLP for some reason.
What are you using? You're using a...
I got the Graco 9.5.
Yep.
And we recently did a black job with Molessi.
Yep.
And it just gunked up in the gun. It was drying through the through the line and through the gun in minutes. I mean, it was a disaster. We had a pressure pot set up, and it was just a disaster. So we fell back to the airless. And just having a hard time kind of really getting the right finish out of the machine. But again, so that's until I get to the point of using the HVLP and getting the right finish, I'm just not happy. I don't feel we're being successful. Although the finishes are actually coming. We've been very lucky where the finishes are still coming out, and they're coming out great.
Yep.
Customers are extremely happy, but I'm not happy knowing that we're not kind of doing the work the way we should be.
Right. So that's the Quincy standard of evaluation is, do we throw this all away because we're not using an HVLP, even though the finish is up to expectations? That gun sucks, the Graco gun. I use it because I have it, but I'm going to call John from Apollo and have him send me out the 7700 and try that. I mean, I love spraying my Titan, the gun, this one. I don't know if you guys can all see this, but because it's there's something about having plastic parts in that gun never really sits well. I don't know how the air flows. It's something wrong with all those plastic pieces. I don't know if it breaks down or clogs easier, but everybody's had problems with that. It's not just you on the 2K through the Graco 9.5 Maxim. I mean, not Maxim 2. Whatever you call that with the Graco.
Edge 2.
Yeah, the Edge 2.
Yeah.
So I think the 7700 from Apollo has a good conversion to the remote and has their own remote. And I think you can do a PPS system off that as well. So I'll try it out and then let you know. But for the cost of the gun, it's probably worth giving it a shot for the 2K. Now,
I've seen a bunch of guys, in the group using it and getting really excited about its finishes. So something I would love to try.
Yeah, for sure. Any other specific questions?
For me, it's about nailing a formula for estimating.
So I'm going to talk about that later tonight, but Quincy's formula is, for a lack of a better word, obnoxiously detailed. It would blow your mind how I can't do it his way, to be honest, but he can. He's so, and you may gravitate towards that. I think you guys should talk about that because I can't even wrap my head around how detailed he gets in his estimate based on time, process, hours. It's crazy. Like, I'll walk in, laser off the whole house, and be like $15,000. Here's all your line items, and I'll line item them out. He's gone to the 10x level of that. So I think a good conversation if you guys want to reach out to each other on that.
It takes me about 15 minutes from knocking on the front door to leaving to finish my
Yeah, but in my head, I'm thinking that's a 4.5 hour Excel spreadsheet thing.
Right.
So I want to go over your estimate later today.
Okay, yeah, that was a big one, and I don't want to go wrong on that.
Yes. So when I do my live video later today, I'll do the same fashion. You can come on as well.
Okay, cool.
All right?
All right, great, thanks.
Cool. All right, guys. Quincy, this was great.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, when you're talking to John, I've been looking at that 7700 as well.
Yeah.
So I think at some point there's a couple of people that wanted some product.
Yeah.
So you could throw a nice little bonus over to the Sprayman group.
So let me give you guys. So there's 4 of us on here now, and everybody will hear this afterwards. But what's going to happen is the manufacturers of all the stuff that we use are going to gather, and I'm going to be able to get better deals, just like the doors, direct from the manufacturers. So we'll have first crack at like Apollo, Surf Prep, Malesi, the doors, everybody. It's actually Lewis and I that are bringing something to a big level just to get first crack at it, get coupon codes, whether it's 10% off, 5% off, whatever, free shipping. It's going to first hit the Sprayman group, and then it'll be everywhere else. It will be for anybody to use. But all those things that we need, like new Apollos, I want to be able to get a group price on every single item that we use as contractors. Really, it doesn't have to just be painters. And it's going to start with Surf Prep and then go to the Malesi, and hopefully John's on board, so we'll have some sort of discount. Now they can't discount so much where it would crush their distributors, but we'll have some sort of thing for the Sprayman to use. That's where that thing called the Sprayman Advantage is. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right, Mike. Sounds like you're
cleaning out your truck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Forgot he was still on.
Yeah, I put my phone in my pocket and I'm still on. Sorry, guys.
All right, guys. Listen, that was great. I'll talk to you all later tonight with my live video. I'm going to post questions and answers that I want to talk about, and I'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
That was great, guys.
See you, Mark. See you, Quincy.
All
See you,
right.
Mike.
Bye.
Bye.